A 47-year-old male abruptly exits Judge Frank Caprio's court during his own hearing, demonstrating total disregard for one of America's most cherished judges. What occurs after his attorney forces him to return will impart to him and to you the most crucial understanding regarding respect, repercussions, and atonement. This is the account of Danny Morrison, a narrative revealing the outcome when conceit encounters genuine justice, and the reason Judge Frank Caprio's reaction became famous among observers. If you think respect must be merited and offered, press the like button immediately and share in the comments an instance when an individual's demeanor entirely shifted your opinion of them. You will soon understand why departing from Judge Caprio constituted the gravest error of Danny's existence and, contradictorily, the instant that rescued it. This tale will cause you to value the insight accompanying age and the strength of new opportunities. Remain until the conclusion because Judge Caprio's final words to Danny will give you shivers and renew your confidence in both the legal system and humanity. From which location are you viewing this video? Inform me in the comments since this story profoundly affects individuals globally. Friday afternoon, 3:30 p.m., Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio is concluding a lengthy week of proceedings. The schedule indicates one remaining case. Danny Morrison, age 47, accused of dangerous operation of a vehicle and not attending his initial court appearance. Judge Caprio, presently 77, has encountered innumerable defendants throughout his many years presiding. He has cultivated a sense regarding individuals who are truly penitent, who attempt to exploit the process, and who simply fail to comprehend the seriousness of their circumstances. The court officer announces Danny's name. Through the courtroom entrance strides a man wearing a costly suit, luxury footwear, a gold timepiece reflecting light. Danny Morrison possesses 3 prosperous automobile sales establishments in the Providence region, a person who achieves success independently, beginning by vending pre-owned vehicles from a modest property 2 decades prior, and constructing a business kingdom via forceful methods and an unwavering conviction that currency resolves all issues. His BMW, situated outside in a restricted parking area, he assumed his stay would be brief. In the spectator section, approximately 12 individuals await their own hearings. A senior woman anxiously grips her handbag. 2 youthful men in work attire murmur regarding their parking citations. The court recorder looks up, identifying the sort instantly. Officer Martinez, who issued Danny's initial citation, is seated in the rear, interested to witness the resolution. Danny walks toward the judge's stand with the relaxed confidence of a man accustomed to achieving his desires through wealth and bullying. No deferential stance. No, Your Honor. Merely a man who evidently feels this is unworthy of him. Yeah. I'm here about the driving matter, Danny states, not making an effort to stand properly. Look, Judge, I'm a preoccupied individual. I provide jobs for 47 employees, contribute more in taxes than most people earn in a year. Can we just resolve this with a payment so I can return to managing my companies? Judge Caprio lifts his gaze from the documents, his face expressionless, but his eyes observing every aspect of Danny's behavior. In almost 50 years as a judge, he has cultivated a special dislike for pride, pretending to be significance. Mr. Morrison, you did not come to your initial court appointment. Today, we are handling both the careless driving accusation and your disregard for this court's timetable. Do you grasp the severity? Judge Caprio's tone stays even, but those familiar with him notice the indicators. His stance becomes a bit more upright. His speech turns more measured. Mr. Morrison, this court functions on regard. Regard for the rules, regard for the procedure, and regard for all who come before it. Your manner implies you think your professional activities free you from the same duties that affect every other person. Danny chuckles. Actually chuckles in the court. Come on, Your Honor. You understand how society functions. Individuals like me maintain this economy functioning. We generate employment, contribute taxes. A small amount of adaptability is very helpful. Even the court stenographer ceases typing. Judge Caprio takes off his spectacles. An action that experienced court observers understand signifies something important is going to occur. Mr. Morrison, Judge Caprio states, his voice bearing the gravity of years of legal power, you appear to think that your monetary achievements excuse you from demonstrating fundamental courtesy in my court. DY's reply astonishes all there. He raises his arms in overstated frustration. Respect. Listen, I have been covering individuals' wages in this town for 15 years. Many of the officers who issued this citation likely purchased their vehicles from my dealerships. You wish to teach me about respect when I am the one supporting this community? The courtroom breaks into muted talk. Court guards look at each other. The older lady in the audience lets out a loud breath. Officer Martinez shows disbelief. Judge Caprio's assistant moves closer, feeling the circumstance intensifying. Judge Caprio rises gradually, his elderly body bearing the honor of his role. The whole court goes silent. Even the murmurs cease. His voice lowers to a volume that somehow demands more focus than any yell. Sir, your riches do not give you protection from politeness. Your tax payments do not buy you preferential handling in my court, and your hiring of 47 individuals does not justify your basic inability to comprehend that in this room we are all the same before the law. Danny's face turns crimson. Years of workers obeying him, of his finances solving issues, have made him totally unequipped for a person who cannot be purchased or threatened, equal before the law. DY's tone increases. That's amusing, coming from a structure that permits actual offenders to go free, while bothering prosperous entrepreneurs over a minor traffic infraction. I don't have time for this theoretical speech from someone who's never had to manage a business. The offense lingers in the air like a tangible force. Judge Caprio, who came to America as a boy, who paid his way through law school, who has committed his life to civic duty, takes the hit with visible self-control. Mr. Morrison, I'm going to offer you one chance to rethink your attitude and demonstrate to this court the respect it is due. Danny glances at his watch once more, makes a dramatic sigh, and says the words that will follow him. You know what? I'm finished with this. I've got actual issues. The courtroom observes in shocked quiet as Danny marches toward the door. Judge Caprio's voice trails him, steady, but holding complete power. Mr. Morrison, if you exit this courtroom without being excused, you will be in contempt of this court. Danny doesn't even look back. He gestures dismissively behind him. Put it on my bill, Your Honor. The stress on Your Honor is scornful, rude. Danny shoves through the courtroom doors and vanishes into the corridor, leaving behind a courtroom full of individuals who have just seen something unheard of in Judge Caprio's many years on the bench. Judge Caprio remains standing for a long moment, digesting what has just happened. In 45 years of legal service, he has witnessed conceit, rudeness, and privilege, but never such obvious disrespect paired with such basic misinterpretation of what justice represents. Court will take a recess. Judge Caprio states softly, Mr. Morrison's case will be postponed and further charges will be added. That 30 minutes later, Danny Morrison is seated in his BMW outside the courthouse making calls about a vehicle sale already, having written off the entire court event as the time waster. His phone rings. Robert Chen, his lawyer of 8 years, calling from his office in another part of the city. Danny, I just received a call from the courthouse. Please tell me you didn't actually leave Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom. Danny hardly glances up from his auction brochure. Bob, calm down. It was merely an elderly judge on an authority kick. I've got more important matters than a traffic citation. The quiet on the other side of the phone lasts uncomfortably long. When Robert speaks next, his voice holds a seriousness Danny has never heard before. Danny, you must pay attention to me very closely. Judge Frank Caprio isn't merely an elderly judge. He's among the most esteemed judges in New England. What you just did, Danny, you could be looking at significant prison time. Prison time for a traffic violation. Come on, Bob, you're exaggerating. Robert's voice turns gravely serious. Danny, you're not hearing me. You left the courtroom during proceedings. That's criminal contempt of court. But that's not even the main issue. Judge Caprio has authority regarding your court judgment, and you demonstrated complete disrespect towards him. Danny eventually stops looking through his auction listing. What do you mean? I am telling you that rather than a monetary penalty and driving course, you might be facing half a year in prison, suspension of your driving privileges, and legal accusations that could impact your professional permits. Danny, you may have just ruined all that you have constructed over 15 years. The statement strikes Danny like ice water. That cannot be accurate. It was merely a traffic matter. It ceased being merely a traffic matter when you exited. And Danny, there is another fact you should learn about Judge Caprio. Robert goes on, his tone burdened by what he must disclose. Judge Frank Caprio is recognized for his empathy. He is renowned for assisting individuals, for comprehending their situations, for providing opportunities to improve. Danny, he likely would have lowered your penalty and assigned you to a driving class. Instead, you offended a man who has committed his whole life to aiding his community. Danny's stomach starts to knot. What are you talking about? Robert's reply is instant and firm. We are returning to that courthouse now. He will apologize, sincerely apologize, and pray that Judge Caprio's famous mercy applies to those who have disrespected all he represents. Danny, Judge Caprio remained after hours to manage your case. The minimum you can do is return there before he leaves for the weekend. Each hour that goes by aggravates the situation. 60 minutes later, Robert Chen is walking back and forth outside the courthouse, anticipating Danny's arrival. When Danny's car arrives, now in a proper parking spot, Robert observes his client appears diminished in some way, less self-assured. Are you prepared for this? Robert inquires. Danny agrees, but his typical confidence has vanished entirely. Bob, what if he refuses to hear us? then you will deal with the results of your behavior. But Danny, Judge Caprio, is known for allowing people opportunities to correct their mistakes. The issue is, if you are truly prepared to fix this.
At 4:45, Judge Frank Caprio is in his office examining Danny Morrison's case documents and readying the contempt allegations. His assistant taps on the door.
Judge Robert Chen is present with his client, Mr. Morrison. They are asking to speak to the court. Judge Caprio glances up, truly taken aback. In his career, individuals who rush out of his courtroom do not usually come back the same day looking for resolution. Inform Mr. Chen I will meet them in 5 minutes. When court resumes, the mood is entirely changed. Danny Morrison walks in after his lawyer, and his change is instantly noticeable. The costly attire is gone, substituted by basic trousers and a shirt. His stance is altered, polite, unsure, subdued. Judge Caprio sits down, his face impassive. The courtroom is almost vacant apart from a few court personnel, employees and personnel who remained after hours, intrigued to witness how this extraordinary circumstance would conclude. Mr. Morrison, Judge Caprio starts, his tone controlled. This is extremely irregular. You departed my court without authorization, displaying disrespect for this court and the judicial procedure. Why have you come back? Danny rises, and for the initial time in the proceedings, his voice trembles a little. Your Honor, I returned because I understood I committed a grave error, not merely leaving, although that was unforgivable, but in the way I behaved in your courtroom. Judge Caprio hears, without interjecting. His years of practice assessing individuals now concentrated completely on deciding if this apology is sincere or strategic. Your Honor, my lawyer described to me who you are, what you have achieved, how you have served this community. I entered your courtroom believing I was superior to the process, more significant than demonstrating respect. I was mistaken. Danny stops, clearly grappling with words that do not come easily to a person used to constantly being correct. I offended you personally, and I offended everything this courtroom stands for. I have no justification for my conduct. I can only inform you that I am embarrassed of how I behaved, and I am here to face whatever penalties you consider suitable. Judge Caprio examines Danny for an extended period. In 40 years on the bench, he has cultivated an almost preternatural capacity to differentiate between authentic regret and deceit. Mr. Morrison, when you departed here 2 hours ago, you showed contempt, not just for me personally, but for the rule of law itself. You implied that your riches and professional achievements qualified you for special consideration under the law. Danny nods, his face red with shame. Yes, Your Honor, and I was entirely wrong. You ridiculed the principle of equality under the law. You disregarded the significance of respect in a courtroom. You insulted my life's work and all I value. Every word strikes Danny like a bodily hit. He is starting to comprehend the extent of his errors. Yes, Your Honor. I grasp that now. Judge Caprio inclines forward slightly. What caused you to return here? His voice conveys real feeling for the first time. Your Honor, my attorney informed me about your history, how you arrived in this nation as an immigrant, labored in construction to finance law school, how you have committed your life to helping others. And I understood. I realized that I have invested so much time developing my company that I neglected fundamental human kindness. He stops, mustering bravery for what follows. When I left here, I believed I was significant because I possess wealth. because I hire individuals, but you have dedicated 40 years serving your community, dealing with everyone with respect, irrespective of their financial status. I have been prosperous in business, but I failed as a person today. Judge Caprio's face softens just slightly. This is the moment he has been waiting to hear. The instant when pride yields to real comprehension. Your Honor, I am not worthy of your mercy, but I am asking for an opportunity to demonstrate I can improve upon the person who departed from here 2 hours earlier. Judge Frank Caprio takes off his glasses and cleans them deliberately, a habit those familiar with him identify as his method of contemplating something meaningful. The courtroom is utterly still, all present aware they are observing something uncommon and significant. Mr. Morrison, he starts, his tone bearing the burden of 40 years of judicial insight. You have provided me with something to ponder this afternoon. Danny stays on his feet, unsure whether to be hopeful or brace for disappointment. When you departed 2 hours ago, I was ready to impose the harshest penalty: criminal contempt, maximum financial penalties, incarceration. Your lack of respect was beyond anything I have encountered in my profession. Danny swallows heavily, acknowledging his destiny rests completely in this man's control. But you returned, Mr. Morrison. That communicates something vital to me. It shows me that beneath that conceit and privilege, there exists a man able to acknowledge his errors.
Judge Caprio rises and his demeanor appears to occupy the whole room. Let me explain something about respect, Mr. Morrison.
I have encountered affluent defendants and impoverished defendants. I have seen individuals with doctorates and individuals who are illiterate. And do you know what I have discovered? A person's integrity has no connection to their finances and complete connection to their treatment of others. Danny nods, absorbing each statement. You inform me you have 47 employees.
That is notable. But those 47 individuals are employed by you because you provide their salary, not because you value them. Authentic leadership is not about being in charge. It is about helping others.
Judge Caprio moves from behind his bench, an infrequent action, placing himself nearer to Danny's eye level. When I arrived in this nation as a youth, I understood that America's strength is not in its prosperity. It is in the assurance that every person, no matter their origin, receives fair justice under the law. You question that ideal today? Yes, Your Honor, and I was mistaken. You were mistaken, Mr. Morrison, but you were also willing to learn. You came back. You paid attention. You understood. And that provides me with optimism. Danny senses tears welling in his eyes, something that has not occurred in a long time. Mr. Morrison, I am about to take an action I have never previously taken in a situation like this. I am going to offer you a decision. Option 2, you dedicate the next half a year discovering what service truly represents. Each Saturday for 6 months, you will offer your time at the Providence Community Kitchen, providing food to individuals who cannot pay for it. You will labor beside people who possess nothing, but offer all they possess to assist others. Danny's eyes open wide. This was not what he had anticipated. However, that is not everything, Mr. Morrison. You will also dedicate 4 hours each month in community court, observing how actual justice functions. You will witness me sentencing individuals who display respect even when they possess nothing,
and you will grasp the distinction between authentic dignity and bought privilege.
Judge Caprio goes back to his bench, yet his tone stays personal, direct. If you opt for the community service, you will report to me personally each month. You will compose a report regarding what you have learned, and after 6 months, if you have truly understood what respect and service signify, I will lessen your charges to a simple traffic violation. Danny can hardly speak. Your Honor, why would you offer me this opportunity? Judge Caprio's reply will become the instant that shapes both men's lives. Because, Mr. Morrison, I have faith in redemption. I believe that individuals can transform, can develop, can become superior to their worst moments. You revealed your worst to me today. Now I wish to witness your best. Danny breaks down entirely, tears streaming freely for the first time since he was a child. Your Honor, I select the community service. I wish to learn. I wish to improve. 6 months later, Danny Morrison comes back to Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom for his final report, but this time, he is not by himself. Behind him are seated 12 individuals, volunteers from the Providence Community Kitchen, community court personnel, and people whose lives he has affected during his service. Danny approaches the bench, but his posture now shows sincere respect instead of forced obedience. In his hands, he holds a folder filled with reports, letters, and pictures. Your Honor, I am here to report on my 6 months of community service. Judge Caprio, now 78, leans back in his chair with real interest. Over 4 decades, he has observed many court-ordered services, but seldom has he seen such a change in someone's attitude. Tell me what you have learned, Mr. Morrison. Danny opens his folder, but does not read from it. Instead, he speaks sincerely. Your Honor, 6 months ago, I believed success meant possessing money and power. I judged my value by my bank account and my capacity to intimidate others. I was mistaken about everything. He motions toward the people who have come to support him. These individuals taught me what genuine success appears like. Maria, who is sitting in the 3rd row, has been volunteering at the community kitchen for 8 years. She works 2 jobs and still gives her Saturdays to feed people who have nothing. She taught me that generosity is not about what you are able to give. It is about giving no matter what you can afford. Judge Caprio observes the real emotion in Danny's voice, the manner he looks at the volunteers with true respect. Your Honor, I will always remember my first day at the community kitchen. I arrived in a $300 shirt believing I was engaging in charitable activities. But when I attempted to distribute soup and ended up spilling it all over, a homeless veteran called Frank, indeed, Frank, just like you, Your Honor, calmly taught me the correct way. He remarked, "Young man, helping others isn't about appearances. It's about giving people a sense of worth." Danny's voice trembles as he goes on. That individual had lost it all. His house, his relatives, his employment. Yet he possessed more poise and self-respect than I had demonstrated in a long time. I have provided more than 1,200 meals over the past half year. But more significantly, I have dined with individuals who possess nothing, yet still give from their meager resources. I discovered that dignity recalling a few of those instances. But the most crucial lesson I gained, Your Honor, is that respect isn't something you order. It's something you gain by serving. 6 months back, I believed individuals should respect me due to my wealth. Now I realize that the only respect that matters comes from supporting others. Danny takes out a letter from his file. Your Honor, This is from the head of the Providence Community Kitchen. She has given me a role on their board, not because of my finances, although I am proud to be their biggest contributor now, but due to the efforts I've made alongside their helpers. Judge Caprio's brows lift a bit.
This exceeds his anticipation.
There is one more thing, Your Honor. I have reorganized my companies. Every worker now gets profit sharing, complete health coverage, and paid leave to do volunteer work. I have realized that genuine achievement means raising others up, not climbing over them. Danny stops, mustering bravery for his last words. Your Honor, 6 months ago, I was prosperous, but hollow. I had funds, but no meaning. You could have ruined my existence with one ruling. Instead, you rescued it by showing me what service truly is. Judge Frank Caprio rises, his tone full of sincere admiration. Mr. Morrison, in 45 years in this court, I have witnessed numerous individuals come through these doors. Some depart unchanged, some depart resentful, and some depart renewed. You, sir, embody the finest that our legal system can achieve. The court breaks into applause from the supporters who have arrived to back Danny. Your charges are now lowered to a basic traffic penalty fee waived. But more importantly, you have understood what I wish you would understand, that authentic leadership is service, that real worth comes from elevating others,
and that respect is gained through our deeds, not our finances. Judge Caprio offers his hand to Danny. Welcome to the community of those who know that success is judged not by what we gather, but by what we give.
Danny takes the handshake. But now, both individuals are peers. Two persons who know that justice is finally about aiding others to become their finest selves. Danny Morrison's account